So I guess when you look at how this tournament is kind of laid out, you have the 4 games against the non-ranked teams and then Tennessee to end it. So do you kind of use those first 4 to really try a lot of different things, and then by the 5th game you kind of know what you have?
Well, right now we're just, right now we have an idea what we have, but we don't have an idea what we have, so we're really just kind of anxious to put on the uniform and put everyone in one dugout and not play each other since we've been doing that for so darn long. So it's an exciting time for us to just kind of find out, where we're at right now. And I always kind of say we look at every weekend as kind of a test, kind of see where we're at and what we need to do to get better. And that's our goal still. You know, we're not going to be probably, we're going to be missing a couple of kids with Charlize Palacio with the broken finger. So she probably will not see much time this weekend. But Izzy's playing quite well and looking forward to that. But it's an exciting time to be able to start the season.
For someone like Izzy, what's the biggest challenge when you haven't really caught that much in live action and you're replacing someone like Deja?
Well, you don't replace Deja. I mean, that's the thing people need to realize. You got a pretty special kid. That's why she's on the U.S. team. But Izzy in herself, I think, is a very competent catcher that has been catching for over a year now and knows our pitchers and knows what she needs to do. So it's going to be an exciting time and a great opportunity for her. I think she's swinging the bat well. So she brings a lot to the table. Maybe her arm strength isn't quite there, but her quickness of getting rid of the ball is there. So I think it'll be a great opportunity for her to see what she does and great opportunity for us.
You talked a lot about the depth of this team, but you also only have 20 players, and you talked a little bit about injuries. Are you concerned with that number when you're talking about the rigors of a full softball season?
Well, 20 players is a lot in my eyes. I remember back in the day when I had 12. And, you have to count your blessings that no one gets hurt. But I think in any season you can't predict that, and you don't really know. I do feel that if we do have an injury, that we do have someone that's ready to step up and give us a good effort. But for us to be full strength at 100%, you need your top line players, and there are some areas that would hurt us more than others. I think we're kind of in that situation right now. But I think overall right now we're close to full strength. Our pitching staff is at full strength right now. Martinez is ready, and Harper's ready, and Karankel's ready, and Palomino's ready. So that's a pretty good nucleus. And then I'm excited to see some of our young freshmen get their opportunities. I think Janelle is a pretty special player, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she does in action this weekend. I think Bella Dayton has shown us that she can play at this level and play very well. And, then you add, Peanut and Carly Campbell. And so we have a lot of depth in the outfield, in the infield not quite as much. So a lot of times when it comes to injuries, it kind of depends on where it's at and who it is.
Coach, are you going to start out pitching by committee, or are you just going to let the starters go as long as they want under the circumstances?
Well, I think the games will kind of dictate that. We have stretched our pitchers out, so we're prepared for them if they have an opportunity to go 7 that they can. But I think early in the season, right now, it will be using a lot of arms this weekend and seeing where we're at.
Seems like you have a couple of options at first base. You kind of have an idea of what you want to do over there this weekend?
Well, I think right now, we've toyed with 3 different options. Ivy Davis, I think, brings a very athletic kid there, and it's all going to come down to who's swinging the bat. And Hannah Bowen, we've had at first base and done a pretty good job there, trying to get her bat in the lineup when she's not pitching. And then we have Palomino. I think once we kind of decide what we're going to do in the outfield and see what the hitting looks like this weekend, we'll have a better idea where we want to go from in the future. But right now, I think Ivy has worked hard and deserves an opportunity. So I think that the first game you'll probably see her at first base and see Palomino in center field, and then we'll kind of go from there.
What's the buildup been like to the season in regards to, this program has been trying to get back to the World Series for so many years, and then you guys get back last year. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's less looks over your shoulder to the outfield fence. I don't know, but what do you think about just kind of starting from this place where you've been there last year? You had that formula.
Well, the expectations are very high for this group. I think we have a very good nucleus back that has been at the World Series, that knows what it's going to take to stay there even longer. And our goal is to play the last game of the season. So that has not changed and will never change. But I think there's a body of work that you have to go through, so you can't look too far down the road. Right now we're looking at this weekend and trying to perform as well as we can this weekend, and then continue to get better throughout the season, because excuse me, truthfully, that it's a long season, it's a grind, and you have to win some of the right games and get the performances when you need them. And so I can't predict the future. I never have been good at predicting the future, but I like what I have. I like this team. I like the body of work that they've been through. And like I said, our expectations right now are to have a great season. And in order to do that, you have to perform. The game's going to be played between the lines, so that begins this weekend.
How would you evaluate Ivy, and I guess how she's been offensively throughout her career? It seems like she has a lot of power, but her average kind of fluctuates.
Yeah, well, we've worked really hard with Ivy. I think a lot of it, truthfully, it's really hard when you don't get a ton of opportunities. So every time you get a chance, you put a little more pressure on yourself that you have to get it done, or you're not going to get another chance. I mean, I understand that mindset, but unfortunately, that's kind of the way the game's played. When you're in there, you got to take advantage of your opportunities, and you got to cash in on them. Ivy, I think, has worked really hard at trying to slow the game down offensively. I think she's a very talented kid, has a lot of athletic ability. It's just a matter of putting it together in the game. And I think if I look at her at bats the last few weeks when we've scrimmaged a lot, there's been an improvement. She's, I think, seeing the ball better and looks a little calmer at the plate, hitting the ball to all fields. And so I hope that continues for her, because she's very deserving of that. But at this level, it's who's performing. It's a game of performance, and she'll have her opportunities, and I'm sure she's looking forward to that.
She comes from a very baseball-heavy family.
Mm-hmm.
How does that show up in her approach and her?
Well, I think if you watch her skills, you're going to see a little baseball in her. Defensively, likes to throw from a lot of different positions, likes to get rid of the ball quick, and can make a lot of the great plays, and I think the big thing with Ivy right now is just trying to get her to play the game and slow the game down and not try to do too much. And I think that's, a lot of our kids are like that. Most young female athletes are pleasers. They want to please you. And so they have a tendency to try too hard instead of not hard enough. And so that's the fun part about playing games, is because every weekend we get a chance to kind of calm down a little bit. And, I'm sure everyone will have butterflies and should have butterflies every time they walk on that field. But I think a lot of it is just learning how to handle the pressures of the game. And to me, it's all about preparation. The kids that do a really good job preparing themselves for success are the ones that have success. And so it's a lot of times what you do, for us, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, to play well on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Coach, do you have a go-to pinch hitter this year like you did with Statman in years past?
Well, we have a lot of kids, I think, that can swing the bat. It's just going to depend on what that starting nine is going to be. Will dictate what we have off the bench. But we have I think we have really good speed off the bench that we can bring in short game situations, and we have some kids that depending on what our lineup's going to look like, that we can bring off the bench. So, I feel pretty good about that.
Transfers are such a big part of softball now. What's the process like getting them integrated into your culture, but also the locker room and kind of the relationships that they built with the teammates?
Yeah, I think that's always a challenge. I mean, anytime you bring someone in new, especially mid-year, is even tougher. At least with Mariah, she was here in September. She played with a lot of the kids that we have on the team before, so it was a pretty smooth transition for her. It was. I've had some situations at mid-season that are really tough because there's not much you can do. You got to hope that they're prepared and are able to handle the game and contribute because you don't have time to change things. And so that's the challenge, I think, sometimes is, what does this kid bring to your program? But the ability to fit into the culture and to the locker room and to gain that respect from the other players, I think, is huge. And we've been pretty fortunate with the kids that we brought in to this point, have been able to come in here and seamlessly kind of adjust to who we are and what we represent and have embraced our culture quite well. So I haven't really had any issues with it.
Who's the other player that you said could miss some time? Who's Charlize and?
Well, right now, Riley Kadurka is not full go. She hasn't practiced for a while. Charlize is one that, with that finger, we don't know. I mean, it's getting better, and she did a little catching yesterday. But she hasn't had any at-bats for a couple of weeks, so she's going to be a little slow offensively with that. But those are the two main kids. Palomino was out for a little bit with a sore knee, but came back pretty quickly and is ready to go 100%. I mean, the rest of us are biting at the bit, ready to get after it.
Is it her throwing hand or her catching?
It's her catching hand. And when you're trying to catch, a denim drop ball, it can be very challenging at times because it's really easy. If you know anything about catching in fast pitch softball, most catchers' hands are pretty banged up all the time because of the toughness of, and denim throws a really heavy drop, and that doesn't help. But she'll be back.
What's the challenge of catching like pitches that break down as opposed to like rise balls?
Well, the down ball is just the glove work that you have to be able to stick a pitch and give the umpire a good look. And a lot of times that it's not so much the drop, but the drop that kind of moves in on you as a catcher. You get caught, and a lot of times the thumb is a very vulnerable piece of the hand that can sometimes get banged up pretty good. But most of these kids have been catching all their life. They should be pretty used to it.
How are you going to manage the pitching rotation this weekend with 5 games? Is there a chance that we'll see more than just Alyssa Mariah this weekend?
I'm sure you will. Yeah, I'm sure you'll see a little bit of everyone to this point. I think Marissa Schultz has thrown some good innings for us here and is getting ready, getting better. I think Hannah Bowen has done a good job. And if there's one right now that's still kind of in work in progress, it would be Vanessa Foreman. But I think, with Mariah and Denham, a lot will dictate what our offense does, and if we can put some runs on the board, then it'll probably open up some opportunities for other people.
What have the conversations with you and Jesse been like? I know you've been through this home run record chase before with Katiana. I'm sure that she wants what's best for the team, but at the same time, she's a competitive person. I'm sure she knows what number she has to hit.
Well, I think all of our kids are competitive, and that's what makes them special at this level. To be honest with you, Jesse and I haven't talked a bit about it. It's just Jesse's one of those players that just comes out and plays the game and plays the game hard, never takes a rep off, and so I think her mindset, if there's any thoughts about it, it's way deep in her mind and not something that we're going to probably talk about. I mean, she's the same player that she's been her entire career. She gives it everything that she has and doesn't really worry about stats, just worries about W's more than anything.
Anything else for Coach Andrea?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, last thing I just want to kind of leave with. It's been very exciting to watch the progress of Adia Barnes in our women's basketball program, and I just really want to wish them the very best when they're heading to Oregon right now. But it's been fun to see the mindset kind of change on that team, and they're playing the game with a lot of confidence right now. And to see the fans come out and support, I think, is a feather in the hat for women's sports. And I've always been a firm believer that we have some really good products out here, and I've been blessed to have a very good fan base in softball, and I'm glad now to see it start extending into women's basketball and volleyball and gymnastics and all the other sports, because I think that's kind of the future right now, to grow athletic departments. I think the women's sports has an opportunity to draw, and it's kind of fun to see it come to fruition right now with Arizona basketball.
On that note, what are the relationships like between the coaches? I mean, you've been here for a while, so what's it like trying to keep those relationships, build those relationships? I mean, I'm sure you guys all have stuff you're doing throughout the day. But.
Well, to me, that's an important part of it. Being here for 35 years, I've pretty much become a little bit of a mentor to younger coaches, and that's the fun part of the job right now at the stage of my career that I'm in. It's being able to answer questions and help others, and we have a great relationship. I try to make sure that I drop a text message. I'm not really big on social media, as well as she is, but I still do text message coaches to say congratulations, and that goes with our golf program. Very, very excited about what they're doing, and gymnastics, and Dave Rubio and I have been here for a long time and talk a lot, and so I tend to move around offices and drop in and say hello and say congratulations and say good luck, and I think that's I grew up in an era where it was a athletic program. And when I talk about an athletic program, I'm talking about every program that's here. And so it's fun to be a part of that. And, I'm excited about what we're doing in tennis. And, I mean, every sport, swimming. I mean, we have a lot of great coaches here. And that's one of the tough parts, is sometimes you have all these people in your own house and you don't get a chance to sit around and really shop a lot. But you'd be surprised that we talk more than what people imagine.
Anything else? Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks so much.